I sat there in the half-dark of my kitchen, the only light coming from the small lamp above the stove. The clock on the wall ticked so loudly it felt like it was counting every year I had given away. My tea had gone cold hours ago, but I couldn't move. My sister Lena had left only 20 minutes earlier, yet the air still carried the scent of her perfume, the expensive one I never knew she could afford. She had stood at my door, rain dripping from her coat, and said the words so quietly I almost missed them. May, I've had a career. For 32 years. A good one. Senior manager at the National Bank. I never told anyone. Not even you. My knees almost gave way right there on the doorstep. I stared at her like she was a stranger wearing my sister's face. 32 years. While I was changing diapers, cooking for my in-laws, waiting up for my husband who worked night shifts, sending her money every month because she said she was managing with small jobs. All that time she had an office, a salary, a life I knew nothing about. I closed the door after she left, walked to the kitchen and just sat. The envelope she pressed into my hand lay unopened beside the cold cup. My chest felt tight, the way it does when you realize the person you loved most in the world had been living a completely different story right beside you. Dear listener, if you are a woman who has ever poured everything into your family and still felt invisible at the end of the day, I know you can feel this ache with me tonight. Have you ever looked at someone you raised, someone you sacrificed for, and wondered how they could hide such a big part of themselves from you? That is exactly where I am right now. My name is May. I am 58 years old. I have 2 grown sons, 1 daughter-in-law who barely speaks to me, 3 beautiful grandchildren who call me only when they need something, and a husband who passed away 4 years ago after a long illness I nursed him through alone. I thought I knew my little sister Lena better than I knew myself. Turns out I didn't know her at all. How did we reach this moment? How did the girl who once shared my bed during thunderstorms become a woman who kept an entire career locked away like a secret shame? I keep asking the empty kitchen, but the only answer is the rain tapping on the window, soft and steady, like it understands. Let me take you back, dear one. Let me tell you everything from the very beginning, the way only an older sister can. Because if I don't speak it tonight, the weight of it will stay inside me forever. And maybe, just maybe, somewhere out there another woman is listening who needs to hear that she is not the only one who gave everything and still ended up with questions no one will answer. Come closer. The night is long, the tea can wait. This is the story of why my sister kept her career secret, and what it cost both of us. It was 1989. I was 22, newly married to Ahmed, and already expecting our first son. Our small house in Rahim Yar Khan was always full. My parents lived with us after Abu's health failed, and my younger sister Lena, then 19, had just finished her intermediate exams. She was the clever one, the one who read books late into the night while I learned to cook perfect roti on the first try. Mama used to say, May will keep the family together. Lena will fly. I believed her. I wanted Lena to fly. That's why when she said she wanted to study further in Lahore, I was the one who convinced Ahmed to let her go. I took extra sewing orders at night so I could send her 2,000 rupees every month. Ahmed grumbled, but he never stopped me. He knew my heart. Those early years were hard but sweet. I had my first son, then my second 3 years later. The house smelled of milk, baby powder, and the jasmine oil I rubbed into my hair after long days. My mother-in-law was strict but fair in the beginning. She taught me how to make a char that lasted the whole year. My father-in-law liked to sit on the charpoy in the courtyard and tell me stories from partition. I listened while I shelled peas, my hands never still. Lena would come home for Eid and summer breaks, always with new stories from the big city. She looked different each time, hair cut shorter, clothes a little more modern, a quiet confidence in her eyes. When I asked about her studies, she smiled and said, It's going well, Baji. Don't worry about me. I never pressed. I was too busy worrying about everyone else. Then Mama fell ill. Cancer. The kind that eats slowly. I brought her back to our house because the hospital in Lahore was too expensive and Lena was still studying. For 2 years I bathed her, fed her, changed her clothes, sang old songs to her when the pain was bad. Lena came whenever she could, but her exams were important, she said. I understood. Someone had to finish what we started. When Mama left us, something in our family shifted. Abu became quieter. My in-laws started expecting more from me. Beta, the dal is too salty today. Beta, the children are too loud. Ahmed worked longer hours at the factory. I stopped dreaming about the small beauty parlor I once wanted to open. There was no time. There was only the next meal, the next school fee, the next doctor visit for Abu's diabetes. Lena graduated. She told us she got a small job in a private school teaching English. The salary was tiny, she said. She still needed help with rent. So I kept sending money. Every month without fail. Ahmed would sigh when he saw me counting the notes, but he never said no. "She's your sister," he would mutter. I remember one particular Eid. Lena came home wearing a beautiful silk suit. The kind that costs 5,000 rupees. When I asked how she afforded it, she laughed lightly. "A friend gave it to me, Baji. Don't worry." I believed her. Why wouldn't I? She was my little sister. The one I had protected from Abu's anger when she wanted to wear jeans. The one I had stayed up with during her board exams, making her milky tea at 2 a.m. The years passed like water through fingers. My sons grew tall. The older one, Bilal, got married to a girl from a good family in Multan. His wife, Saima, was polite in front of me but cold when we were alone. She wanted her own kitchen, her own rules. I stepped back. What else could I do? My younger son, Usman, moved to Karachi for work. He calls once a month, always in a hurry. Ahmed's health started failing. Heart. The doctors said stress and poor diet. I cooked everything without oil, sat beside his bed reading the newspaper to him because he couldn't hold it anymore. Lena visited more often then. She would sit with him, hold his hand, tell him funny stories from the school. I was grateful. I thought she was sacrificing her own time for us. I never noticed the small things that didn't add up. The new phone she had when no one could afford one. The way she always had money for gifts for my grandchildren even though she complained about being broke. The holidays she took. A school trip, she called them. I was too tired to question. Too busy being the strong one. The one everyone leaned on. Then Ahmed passed. The house became even quieter. My in-laws had already left this world by then. It was just me, the memories, and the phone calls from my sons asking if I was managing. Lena started coming every weekend. She would cook for me, force me to eat, sit with me on the roof under the stars. Those nights felt like old times. I would tell her how lonely I felt, how invisible. She would listen, hold my hand and say, "You did everything right, Baji. You raised everyone." I believed her. Until that rainy night last week when she stood at my door and told me the truth. That is how the small seeds were planted, dear listener. The quiet sacrifices no one saw. The love that asked for nothing. The slow, steady erosion of a woman who thought giving everything was the only way to be loved. And now the first cracks are showing. The first real crack appeared 6 months after Ahmed's death. I was sorting through old boxes in the storeroom when I found a bank statement tucked inside one of Lena's old notebooks. It wasn't mine. It was in her name. The balance made my eyes blur. Over 40 lakh rupees. 40 lakh. I sat on the dusty floor surrounded by old baby clothes and felt the room spin. When she came that Friday, I showed it to her. My hands were shaking. "Lena, what is this?" She went very still. Then she smiled, that same soft smile she had used for 30 years. "Baji, it's nothing. Old savings." But I had seen the dates. Deposits every month for years. Regular. Large. Not the salary of a school teacher. She left that night without explaining. For the first time in our lives, we didn't speak for 10 days. The second crack came when Bilal's wife Saima announced she was pregnant. I was overjoyed. I started knitting a sweater, planning how I would help with the baby the way I had helped with my own children. But Saima said quietly, "Amy, we have decided to hire a full-time maid. You don't need to trouble yourself." Trouble myself. The words landed like stones in my chest. I smiled, said I understood, went to my room and cried into the half-finished sweater. I called Lena that night. She listened, then said, "Maybe it's time you lived for yourself now, Baji." Her voice was gentle, but something in it felt distant, like she was speaking from very far away. The third crack, the one that almost broke me, happened on my 57th birthday. I had cooked biryani, invited both sons and their families. Usman came from Karachi with his wife. Bilal and Saima brought the new baby. The house was full again for a few hours. Laughter, clinking plates, the smell of saffron rice. Then Lena arrived late, carrying an expensive imported cake and a gold bangle set for me. Real gold. I knew the price. I had seen the same set in the jewelry shop last month. 80,000 rupees. Everyone praised her thoughtfulness. My daughters-in-law took photos. But I kept staring at the bangle on my wrist, heavy and cold. After everyone left, I asked her straight. Where did the money come from, Lena? Tell me the truth. I am your sister. I have the right to know. She sat down at the kitchen table, the same table where I had fed her as a child. She looked older suddenly. Tired. I have been working at the bank since 1993 May. Started as a clerk, rose to senior manager. I never told anyone because I saw what happened to you. Mama and Abu expected you to give up everything. I didn't want them to expect the same from me. I wanted to be free. To travel. To save for my own old age. I was afraid if they knew, they would ask me to quit and come home like they asked you. Her words cut deeper than any knife. So while I was washing your clothes, feeding our mother, sending you money every month, you had everything? I sent money too, she whispered. Every time you needed help with hospital bills, with the boys' fees. I just never told you where it came from. I thought if you knew, you would feel worse about your own life. I stood up so fast the chair fell backward. You thought I would feel worse? Lena, I felt alone. Every single day I felt like the only one carrying the weight of this family. And you? You were living a whole different life. She started crying. I had never seen my strong little sister cry like that. I was scared, Baji. Scared that if I told you, you would hate me for choosing myself. Scared that the family would turn on me the way they turned on you when you wanted to study further. I kept the secret to protect both of us. That night she left without eating. I didn't stop her. The weeks that followed were the loneliest of my life. I stopped answering her calls. My sons noticed something was wrong but didn't ask. Sima stopped bringing the baby over. The house felt bigger than ever. Then came the health scare. I collapsed in the market one morning. High blood pressure, the doctor said. Stress. Years of it. When I woke up in the hospital, Lena was sitting beside my bed, holding my hand, her eyes red. I'm sorry, she kept whispering. I'm so sorry. In that white hospital room with the beep of machines and the smell of disinfectant, something inside me finally broke open. I looked at my sister, the one person I thought would never hurt me, and asked the question that had been burning for months. Why did you keep your career secret from me, Lena? The one person who loved you more than anyone. I paused there in the hospital room, dear listener, and I want to pause with you right now too. Have you ever felt like a guest in your own home? Have you ever given your whole life to your children and in-laws, only to realize they see your love as duty, not sacrifice? Would you forgive your sister? Or your daughter for hiding something so big for 30 years? Have you ever wondered if choosing yourself makes you selfish? Or just human? And the hardest one. If you could go back, would you still give everything away? Or would you keep a little piece for yourself? I know many of you are watching from your own quiet kitchens right now, maybe after everyone has gone to sleep, maybe with tears you can't explain. Write your stories in the comments. Tell me, has a family member ever kept a secret that changed how you see your entire life? Did you feel betrayed? Or did you understand later? Because I am still trying to understand. This story is not just mine and Lena's. It belongs to every woman who was told her dreams were less important than everyone else's needs. Every mother who smiled through the exhaustion. Every sister who carried the weight so her younger one could fly. I will continue the story in a moment. But first, breathe with me. You are not alone tonight. Your feelings are valid. Your sacrifices were seen. Even if no one said thank you. Now, let me tell you what happened next. Every woman who gave everything and got silence in return will understand this moment. That was the night I realized I had been raising everyone. But no one had ever raised me. I kept sending her money while she kept a whole life hidden. Tell me that doesn't break something inside you. She said she did it to protect me. But protection that comes with lies, is it really love? I was the strong one. The one who never complained. And still, my own sister saw me as someone who couldn't handle the truth. If you have ever felt invisible in your own family, this story is for you. She flew. And I stayed on the ground holding everyone else's dreams. Was that fair? I still don't know. Tonight I am not just telling you my sister's secret. I am telling you mine too. The secret that I never learned how to choose myself. The hospital released me after 4 days. Lena insisted on taking me to her apartment, the one I had never been inside before. It was beautiful. Simple, modern, with plants on the balcony and bookshelves full of novels I had only heard about. On the wall was a small framed photo of us as children, the same one I had in my kitchen. She made me sit on the sofa, brought me warm milk with cardamom the way Mama used to, and then she told me everything. How she got the bank job through a friend's recommendation right after graduation. How she worked hard, studied at night, got promoted again and again. How every time she wanted to tell me, she remembered me crying because I couldn't continue my own studies after marriage. She remembered me selling my gold earrings to pay for Abu's medicines. She remembered me saying, "At least one of us should have a better life, Lena." So she protected that better life by hiding it. She showed me the statements. Every single time I sent her money, she had transferred double back into an account she opened for my son's education in my name without me knowing. She had paid for my husband's last operation without telling anyone. She had quietly bought the plot of land we now use for family gatherings, in both our names. "I didn't want you to feel like a burden," she said. "And I didn't want the family to clip my wings the way they clipped yours." We cried for a long time that night. Not angry tears. The kind that wash away years of misunderstanding. I stayed with her for 2 weeks. We talked like we hadn't talked since we were girls. She showed me photos from her travels: Paris, Bangkok, the mountains in Swat. I laughed until my stomach hurt when she told me about the time she wore a sari backwards at an office party. And slowly something inside me began to heal. I realized I had been angry not just at her secret, but at my own choices. I had chosen to be the strong one because no one ever told me I was allowed to be soft sometimes. I had believed that a good woman empties herself completely. Lena showed me that a good woman can also keep something for herself and still love fiercely. When I came back home, I made changes. I told my sons I would no longer cook full meals every day. They could visit and bring food sometimes. I started going for morning walks. I joined a ladies' Quran class at the mosque. I even opened a small WhatsApp group for widows in our neighborhood. We share recipes and stories and laughter. Lena retired last month. She is moving back to Rahim Yarkand, not to live with me, but in the flat next door. We will have our own lives and still be sisters. She says she wants to start a small scholarship for girls who want to study but whose families say no. I told her I will help her run it. Dear listener, if you are still with me at the end of this long night, I want you to hear this with your whole heart. You do not have to give everything away to be loved. Your dreams are not less important than your family's needs. Sometimes the people who love you most will still hurt you. Not because they don't care, but because they are also carrying their own fears. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is the bravest thing a tired woman can do. And the most important love you will ever fight for is the love you give yourself. I still don't know all the reasons my sister kept her career secret. But I know this: she kept it because she loved me enough to want something better for at least one of us. And now, because of her secret, I am finally learning to want something better for myself too. So tonight, before you sleep, look in the mirror and tell the woman looking back at you, you did enough. You are enough. And from now on, you will keep a little piece of your life just for you. This is May, signing off with a full heart and lighter shoulders. Thank you for sitting with me through the tears and the truth. If this story touched you, please share it with the woman in your life who needs to hear she is not alone. And remember, sometimes the biggest secrets are kept out of love, not betrayal. Good night, dear one. Sleep gently.